Just like the street lights lit this town, like a fire in a blaze, gotta burn it down. Can't be afraid to leave this out. We got this far, don't know how. I see danger in your eyes. They know we'll burn down the night. Coming just like the sunrise. You know that we gonna let it away. Tonight, we gonna let it away. Tonight, we gonna let it away. Just like the sunrise, we gonna let it away. Just like a spark that's breaking out. Can't make a stop, can't turn back now. We know that there's no room for doubt. No, we can't turn back now. I see danger in your eyes. They know we'll burn down the night. Coming just like the sunrise. You know that we gonna let it away. Tonight, we gonna let it away. Tonight, we gonna let it away. Just like the sunrise, we gonna let it away.
Hey guys, how's everybody doing today? How are you guys doing? Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. Welcome to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Tanya or TitaniumBuilt, and it's good to see everybody this evening. What day are we on? Tuesday. Tuesday, March the 4th. I always have to look at my watch. No matter if I look at it right before the live, I question myself. I question myself. So welcome in, everyone. It's good to see you guys. We're going to talk a little Casey Anthony tonight because I knew Nancy was going to come out with a podcast or a video, and she did both. I knew she would be on this like a dog with a bone. So we're going to go over what they kind of said and what was said tonight. So we'll see what they were talking about. But hello, Just Breathe. Welcome in. Hey, Ladybug. It's good to see everybody. If you guys are new to the channel, like I said, don't forget to hit the like button if you do appreciate the content. If you would like to subscribe to the channel, we'd love to have you become part of the channel. And if you'd like to become a member, even better, I'll put the link in the chat throughout the live for the membership. If you'd like to become a member. Hey, CJK. Hey, DM. Yeah, I wasn't even going to talk about her until I realized, I was like, wait, Nancy's going to talk about her. And I wanted to hear what Nancy had to say. Because she's on one. I think the word advocate is really getting to her. Like, advocate. We could call you a lot of things, but advocate is not one. Hey, Karina. Hey, Tempest. Do you guys remember where you guys were and like what you were doing whenever when they read the verdict? Because I do. I remember I was at work. I was at work and I was bartending, and I was in a restaurant that we weren't supposed to turn on like the news, like anything bad, like anything sad, like nothing like that. But we did not care that day at Red Lobster. We were all watching the verdict, and it was like, after they read the verdict, they said not guilty. Everybody like got quiet. I think that I fell. I think I fell to the ground. I don't even remember. I like blacked out. Like, what? What did we hear? What did we just hear? It was crazy. Hey, Lenora. But she'll get hers in due time. She'll get hers in due time. I hope that she's not successful over on the TikTok. If she is, I mean. Oh yeah, Ashley. Yeah, she's an advocate now. Yeah. Caylee. I mean, how old would Caylee be now? She would be in her 20s, right? Yeah, close to. Yeah, close to it. Hey, Tony, welcome in. I don't know where I was, so if I missed you, I'm sorry. Hey, guys, welcome on in. I'm going to get to the bottom here so that way we can get started. Hey, Princess. Hey, Reba. There are some new documents that came out for Idaho. I looked at them briefly. They didn't go into detail about the autism stuff yet that I've seen. So there might be more documents that are being released. So we'll go over those as whenever they come out, and I read over them and can get them to you guys. Yeah. I didn't notice how many people were actually like, were interested in her TikTok video. Like I watched it. I think I watched it on another channel or something. Someone maybe played it, or I watched like a clip of it and I was just like, oh no, we're not doing that. And then I just like scooted it to the side. You know what I mean? Like out of sight, out of mind. I didn't think that people would like, cover it. And then I was like, wait, and Nancy's going to say something about all this. So I wanted to hear what she had to say. There's Mary Beth. Happy Tuesday. It's okay. Just breathe. I apologize. No, me too. Sometimes she makes people, Casey Anthony can make people come out of pocket. Oh, thank you. And remember for 24 months. I know, look how long it is. I can stand up. It's super long. It's so long. I'm so excited about it. It looked a lot better earlier whenever it was like curled and stuff. I need to curl it a little better. I need to learn how to do that kind of stuff, but I'm excited about it. And it only took 2 hours. So I thought I was going to be in that chair for 4. I came with a lunchbox, my Stanley, my phone, my 2 headphones, just in case. Cause I was like, and then I ended up talking to her the whole time. So it was good. Thank you, Ladybug. Thank you guys. I appreciate it. Yeah, I got me some hair. Hey, Sailor. I think Vincent was like, I think he's still getting used to it because he likes my hair long, but I think it's because there's just more of it. And I have to like, thanks, Karina. I have to sleep with like a hair bonnet. I fell asleep today. I was like, I need to go take a nap. I had a procedure done this morning, an appointment, and then, and it was on my feet too, of course. So then I had to walk. Like I walked over there like a dummy. Didn't think when you get a procedure done on your feet, they're going to be sore. So I had to walk back and I was just like, oh, my feet are sore. But I got lucky because Vincent came home for lunch. So he took me over to get my hair done. I didn't have to walk over there. Hey, Groovy Nikki. Thank you, Ashley. He likes it. I think he's starting to like it. See, I had a problem where someone colored my hair and then they cut it bad. And then when I cut it again, it was like, when I first got it cut, it was fine. It looked fine, but then it just started looking like really brittle at the ends. And I'm like, what's going on here? So I don't know if it's like my age or what, but we're going to get through it. But thanks. Yeah, I missed my long hair. I was looking at old pictures. Sorry, everybody that's like going like get on with it today, lady. But yeah, no, I was looking at old like pictures of when I first started YouTube, and I was like, my hair was so thick and like long. I'm like, where'd it go? And I think medication and then stress and, all the things that life throws at you. It's like, my hair thinned out a little bit on me. But Casey Anthony is back. I never really thought that she would come back into the spotlight like this. I guess we should have known better. We should have known in due time. In due time, she would have. She put out, I think this was like 2 or 3 days ago, she put out a TikTok pretty much explaining that she's going to be an advocate for herself and for her daughter. And I love how she put herself first still, continues to do that. Me, it was a lot of, me and then Caylee afterthought, talking about her parents. So apparently I guess they still don't talk. I don't know. last I remember hearing about Casey Anthony was she was staying with Jose Baez, and she was like hiding out, like just hiding out from the world. And that was like really like we saw that she was at Disneyland or Disney World, that's the one in Florida. Yeah, Disney World. She was there. This woman, she hasn't aged. I'm like, I'll give her that. She hasn't aged a bit. I think if we put her in that ugly pink top that she was wearing and for court, if we put her back in that with the ponytail in the back or the bun, we'd have the Casey Anthony that we had before. From 2011. So she's said she's been in the law. She's worked with the law or in law since 2011. I'm like, no, there was a jury, honey. Like you weren't working with the law. It's like, I guess she was, if she wants to say that. But, if you don't know about Casey Anthony, I was going to pull up this article for us, just to get us all a little refresher, because nothing like a refresh with Casey Anthony. And then we'll listen to Nancy. She's on one. She's on fire. Casey Anthony became a household name. Oh, it was in 2008. I thought it was 2008. Oh, no, I said 2011. Following the disappearance and death of her daughter, because that's when it happened. Okay, and then she went to on trial, and she was on trial in Florida. And a Florida jury found her not guilty. In the years since the trial, Anthony has discussed the case very few times, once in a 2017 phone call with the Associated Press and in an on-camera interview as part of a 3-episode series in 2020. I forgot about that. She did do that 3-episode series. I feel like I watched some of that. On March 1st, Casey posted a video to TikTok to reintroduce herself to the world as a legal advocate. What do you got to be a legal advocate? I wonder. Can you just say that you're an advocate? Like, can I say I'm an advocate? Because I talk about, missing children. I'm a missing child advocate. No, I don't say that. But apparently she is. I mean, you unalive a child, you're an advocate. Allegedly. And to advocate for herself and her late daughter, one of the first time she's spoken publicly in years. I really am surprised she brought up her daughter. I'm surprised she opened up that can. I really am. She's ballsy, I mean, they can't try her again. So who is Casey Anthony? Casey Anthony was infamously tried and acquitted of first-degree murder in the disappearance and death of her 2-year-old daughter, Caylee, in Orlando, Florida. Casey Anthony was 22 at the time of her daughter's disappearance. Casey's mom, Cindy Anthony, reported her granddaughter missing in July 2008, a month after reportedly not seeing her. So this was another case where the grandparents stood up and they reported the child missing. In December 2008, Caylee's skeletal remains were found in a wooded area not far from where Cindy and George, Casey's parents, lived in Orlando. They were found by a utility worker. At the trial, Casey was found guilty on 2 counts of lying to law enforcement about the whereabouts of Caylee shortly after she was reported missing. And Casey claimed she was with a babysitter, Zanny the nanny, which turned out to be false story. She liked to do that. She liked to tell stories. She likes to lie. She's a big fat liar. She has people over there actually giving her money, like to be like a member, like, and it's not like, okay, it's not like over here where, it's like $1.99 or something. It's like $10 or something for like one of her, I think, and that might be her lowest tier. I'm not sure, but I haven't been over to her TikTok yet. We need to go over there, but I don't want to. I just don't want to give her the views. So I'm going to try to play it on a different video. But according to court records, here were the original charges against Casey. First degree murder, she was acquitted. Aggravated child abuse, acquitted. Aggravated manslaughter of a child, acquitted. False into a law enforcement into regarding a missing person, 2 counts, found guilty on both. 2 were thrown out by an appeal court. I think she was in there for like 14 days after her trial. She had served like all of her time because she had been in there for a while. So she left after like 12 or 14 days or something. She walked out. Just said that they made, they made like a TV special. It says prosecutors alleged during the trial that Casey Anthony used chloroform, a colorless sweet tasting liquid that was once used in inhaled anesthetic in surgery per CDC, and duct tape to suffocate Caylee as a way of escape parental responsibility. Can't you make chloroform? I think you can make it somehow, like with chemicals from your house. Now, don't quote me on that. Don't go looking it up, trying to chloroform people, but I think you can. And then her mom tried to say that it was her mom. Her mom was like, I'm the one that looked that up, and I was trying to look up chlorophyll. Remember that or something like that? She was trying to look up something else. I was like, they were trying to protect her. I don't know. And then the jail interviews that they had, oh my gosh, she was spoiled. She was something else. So it just tells you who the key players are. I think that where is Casey Anthony now? Let's see. She moved to South Florida, where she was reportedly working for a private detective who had worked on her defense team. In that interview, she denied knowing what had happened to her daughter. In 2020, Casey Anthony participated in a docuseries, Casey Anthony, Where the Truth Lies, which streamed via Peacock. She also, according to state records and Fox News, filed documents to start her own private investigation business. Like, could you be successful at that? Like, I don't want her to be successful in anything in life. But Jose Baez became pretty successful after getting her off with, unaliving her daughter. I wonder if people will actually go to her because they're like, hey, she's a criminal too. She got off of it. Maybe she can help us get off of it. I don't know. It's just weird. I don't see her being like a private investigator. Like, I don't see her being very stealth-like, which, I mean, they don't have to be stealth-like, but you know what I mean? Like, just kind of flying under the radar, doing their thing. I don't see her doing that. Although she has been doing that the last, so many years. Yeah. Told disgusting lies about her dad. I know. Could you imagine? Like, that was the year I lost my dad, and I remember what she said about her dad, and and I was like, oh my goodness. Like, I couldn't imagine putting those lies on my father. And then he just has to sit there in court and listen to it. Oh, Mike, we've heard stories. Oh yeah, Kim K notoriety start working. Yeah, Groovy Nikki, she sure does. Oh, Judy, I didn't know that. Yeah, they need to keep her. Casey doesn't even have her, and probably doesn't even care. Like, I mean, I don't know. That's to me. I mean, like, if you're so innocent, I would want my daughter's ashes. Never heard any court filings for that, or nothing like that. So it's kind of like she just let it, let that part of her life go, I guess. Okay. Well, let's listen to Nancy. If Nancy doesn't, I was listening to some of this. I'm going to see if, I don't know if she plays the actual TikTok, but if she doesn't, we'll listen to it afterwards. Oh, and I just fast forwarded it. I didn't mean to do that. It just came out on Merit. Oh, like an hour ago. So it's available to watch. Look, her eyes are rolled in the back of her head. Sorry, Nancy. Okay. Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate it. Oh, I think she's going to play. Nope, she's not. Okay. I'm going to hit play though, but if you guys don't mind, hit the like button. It'll be, it's good for the channel. It's just good for the channel. Just hit the like button for your girl. And I'm going to hit the play button and we'll commentate over this too. Let's see what Nancy has to say. I'm sure it's pure entertainment. I've watched the first few minutes of it and it was.
Breaking news tonight. The return of Tot Mom. It feels like a dirt sandwich in my mouth. The return of Tot Mom. TikTok stardom ahead as Casey Anthony haters beg, please go away. Good evening. I'm Nancy Grace. This is Crime Stories. Thank you for being with us.
I called a little bit ago. The deputy sheriff said I found out my granddaughter has been taken. She has been missing for a month. There's something wrong. I found my daughter's car today, and it smells like there's been a dead body in the damn car.
Okay, what is the 3-year-old's name?
Caylee.
That brings it back home to the discovery, and I went and looked at the spot where Caylee Anthony's body was bagged in trash bags from Top Mom Casey Anthony's home and thrown in a swampy area covered in trash and used tires, just out in a swamp. And that is where Caylee decomposed. This beautiful little girl, the shining light of her grandparents' eyes, in a swamp, decaying. And now this.
I am a legal advocate. I am a researcher. I've been in the legal field since 2011. And in this capacity, I feel that it's necessary, if I'm going to continue to operate appropriately as a legal advocate, that I start to advocate for myself and also advocate for my daughter.
Okay. What?
We're good. We're good. We don't need your avocation. We're cool. We're all right.
I need to see that again. That's from Casey Anthony's official TikTok account at @CaseyAnthony_Substack. P.S. If you don't know what Substack means, it means money to her in her pocket. I'll explain that. I've got to see this again.
I wonder what that Substack
I am a
was.
legal advocate. I am a researcher. I've been
What's
in the
the
legal
pod
field
too?
since 2011. And in this capacity, I feel that it's necessary, if I'm going to continue to operate appropriately as a legal advocate, that I start to advocate for myself and also advocate for my daughter.
Okay, that's from Top Mom Casey Anthony's TikTok account at @CaseyAnthony_Substack. Whoa. Legal advocate? No, you're not. You were tried for the murder of your little girl. Legal advocate, my rear end. And whoa, did I hear her say she's been involved? Let me look at this. In the legal system since 2011. You mean when you were tried for murder? Joining me, an all-star panel. But I just want to remind everybody what this is really about. No one would even know her name if it weren't for this.
There's something wrong. I found my daughter's car today, and it smells like there's been a dead body in the damn car.
Okay, what is the 3-year-old's name?
Caylee, Caylee, Anthony.
Caylee Anthony?
Yes,
Okay, is she white, black, or Hispanic?
she's white.
How long has she been missing for?
I have not seen her since the 7th of June.
Oh.
What is her date of birth?
8/9/2000. Oh God, she's 3. She's 2005. So it's Caylee, listen.
That is sin.
I'll say that's the grandmother. That's not even Casey calling for her own daughter.
Cindy Anthony, Caylee's grandmother, calling, reporting her missing. Not Tot Mom, her own mother. Advocate for my daughter? Advocate for my daughter? Who called 911? Not you. Listen.
Man, I love feisty Nancy.
She's been missing for a month.
Okay, I understand. Can you calm down for me for just a minute and I need to know what's going on, okay? I'm gonna try and
Advocate for my daughter. Joining me, Joe Scott Morgan, renowned death investigative professor at Jacksonville State University, author of Blood Beneath My Feet on Amazon, and star of Body Bags with Joe Scott Morgan. Reality check. You know, finding out that Tot Mom is offering a Substack. In other words, you go listen to her and she gets money. By the way, Joe Scott, already just her announcement has racked up over 3 million views. She gets paid for that. If there are
Oh my
ads.
gosh.
All of
That's
that
a lot.
money is going into her pocket. Harsh reality. No one would even know her name if she had not been charged with murdering her daughter. Tell me what happened to Caylee.
I can tell you what the end result was. All we have left now are skeletal remains, period. As a matter of fact, her body, Nancy, was so badly decayed
Mm.
after they recovered it from that brushy area out there in that swamp-like environment that they could not even come to a conclusion about what her specific cause of death. It's non-specified homicidal means, and it's
Joe
absolute.
Scott,
Yeah,
excuse me,
yeah.
wasn't duct tape wrapped around the baby's mouth and nose with a heart sticker stuck on it? That gives me a pretty good idea as to how she died. You think you could survive with duct tape wrapped around your nose and mouth?
I'll go one better than that, Nancy. It wasn't
Wasn't it around her head?
her nose and mouth. It was around her skull.
Yeah.
Just let that sink in
Her
just
whole
for a
head.
second. That's what was done to
You
this
wondering,
child.
orphan?
She's cast off like garbage, Nancy. And then, insult to injury here. We're talking a month down range before anyone says peep about her missing. And all the while, she's been out there just in a state of decay, Nancy. And as you know, Florida is a very harsh environment. There was hardly anything left that scientifically we could really hang our hats on to try to understand what had actually happened to her.
Just saying that, Joe Scott Morgan,
Mhm.
and think about it. Every day, Tot Mom, Casey Anthony, would pass that spot. As I said, it's about 10 houses down from the Anthony home, and you come out of their cul-de-sac, and if you turn right, well, you have to pass it. Do
Yeah.
you know, Joe Scott, I don't think I've ever told you this. I have never been back to where my fiance was murdered. Never.
Yeah.
I don't think I could stand to look at it and know that's where he was murdered. But she passed this every day and never said a word day by day. Think about it, Joe Scott. As each hour passes, what happened to Caylee's body? When did flies show up and lay eggs? When did her flesh start slipping off of her body? I know it's harsh, Joe Scott, but this is the reality.
Yeah, you're right. And in that environment, it's so harsh down there, Nancy. And to think that this person could have moved back and forth across this, and court said that she didn't know, or that at least they didn't find her guilty of it. But come on, give me a break. You're driving by this every single day, and that precious little angel is out there in a state of decay. I can't even begin to plumb the depths of how evil.
What happens first, Joe Scott? What happens first when her body is in that bag? What happens in the first 5 hours of her body being in that bag?
Yeah, just within the first 5 hours, particularly in Florida, you're going to have the
Oh,
presence
gosh.
of flies being attracted to this area. And people say, well, she's in a bag. No, flies always find a way. They get in, and then they begin, or they kind of aid in this process of decomposition. And it's sped up very, very quickly in that environment, Nancy. And having worked in Louisiana, that's very similar to this, I've actually seen fly eggs laid on the eyes and the mouth and the nose within 3 hours of death.
Yet today, Tot Mom Casey Anthony returns to TikTok stardom. Listen.
There are people close to me who have been targeted and attacked recently. There are also people close to me who have had some recent things occur. And when necessary, people needed to step up, myself included.
That is from @CaseyAnthony_substack.
Ain't nobody hanging out with her.
Okay, I just heard her say there are people close to me that have been targeted. Like Caylee?
Is your daughter there?
I'm on the phone with them.
Is your daughter there?
Yes.
Can I speak with her? Do you mind if I speak with her? Thank you.
I called them 2 hours ago. They haven't gotten here. And they finally admitted to Betty took her a month ago.
Ma'am.
She's downstairs to talk. They want to talk to you. Answer the question.
Hello?
Yes.
Hi. Well, can you tell me what's going on a little bit?
I'm sorry?
Can you tell me a little bit what's going on?
My daughter's been missing for the last 31 days.
And you know who has her?
I know who has her. I've tried to contact her. I actually received a phone call today. now from a number that is no longer in service. I did get to
She got a phone call today. Just happened to get a phone call the time that we're calling the police, you know?
speak to my daughter for about a minute.
Okay, did you guys call and report a vehicle stolen?
Yes, my mom did.
All of that is a lie. She is describing her daughter being taken by the nanny, and today she's saying people close to me have been targeted and attacked. Really? What about Zenaida Fernandez Gonzalez? That's a real person that was attacked and wrongly named by her
Wow, she knew her name fast, didn't she?
as a kidnapper and a baby killer. That's a real person. That's a woman wandering around, minding her own business. They got dragged into Top Mom Casey Anthony's vortex. Listen, she even spells the name, for Pete's sake.
Who has her? Do you have a name?
Her name is Zenaida Fernandez Gonzalez.
Who is that? Babysitter?
She's been my nanny for about a year and a half, almost 2 years.
Yeah, why are you calling now? Why didn't you call 31 days ago?
I've been looking for her and have gone through other resources to try to find her, which was stupid.
Okay. Can you give me the name of the nanny again? Like, spell it out for me.
Zenaida, Zenaida.
Last name? Fernandez.
Hyphen Gonzalez.
Man, what a liar. She even knows how to put the hyphen Gonzalez. There's actually a real person out there named Zenaida Fernandez Gonzalez. And isn't it true? Tashana Butler joining me right now, investigative reporter, WFTV, Channel 9, Florida, this jurisdiction, that when the apartment where Tot Mom says she dropped off baby Caylee was found by police, it had been vacant for 140 days. 140 days. No one had lived there. Then when she took police to where she worked, to Universal Studios, she got all the way in the car with cops, all the way to the security gate, all the way through the security gate to the building, out of the car, walking in the building to find her boss. And she says, okay, you got me. I haven't worked here in 3 years. All the time.
I forgot about
wearing
that.
her Universal uniform with her tag. Her parents thinking she worked while she sat on the sofa and ate chips while they paid for Caylee. Isn't all of that true?
That is all true. I remember back then. I mean, I did nothing but this story for 3 years here in Orlando. And I remember when we talked to the investigators after all of this happened, they said they had never met a better liar than Casey Anthony, that she was so stuck to those stories, even when they were going through Universal and she said, oh yeah, I don't work here. She was so defiant, they said, about the story she was telling, almost looking at them like, you're a bunch of idiots. Hear what I'm saying. This is what happened. And she stuck to those stories. And they said that it was a tough interview. I mean, look at her. You wouldn't think that she would be so married to those stories that these investigators could break her. They said she just kept going and kept going and kept going with those stories, that she either believed those lies or was just dead set on trying to make sure everyone else believed him too.
Joining me, renowned defense attorney Troy Slayton out of the LA jurisdiction. Troy, you know what a Substack is, right? You know what's happening here, correct?
I know that a person who was found not guilty by a jury of her peers, a jury who sat there and listened to all of the legal evidence admitted by the judge, decided to find her not guilty on murder, on manslaughter, did find her guilty of 4 counts of lying to police. I know that that person is making money lawfully on TikTok and Substack.
I literally have nothing right now.
She probably had to go to commercial right then. She was probably wanting to rip that guy a new one.
Hurt by everything. And I watched that episode of Nancy Grace, and the stuff that was being said about me, and you guys are not understanding my side on this.
In the last hours, Tot Mom Casey Anthony's return to stardom, TikTok fame. Yes, it's real. Listen.
For those of you who don't know, my name is Casey Anthony. My daughter is Caylee Anthony. My parents are George and Cindy Anthony. This is not about them. This is not in response to anything that they have said or done. That's not to say that I'm not going to respond at some point to some of the things that they have said and done.
That was from the TikTok account at @CaseyAnthony_Substack. Speaking of George
What
Anthony,
they've done?
that you dragged through the mud, your own father. Listen.
I remember being asked about this at the very beginning when I talked about walking up to that car and getting about 3 feet away from it, and the smell that emanated from that car. I could smell it 3 feet away on the passenger side. When I opened up that car door, yeah, it smelled like decomposition, human decomposition.
That's George Anthony, who I consider to be a friend. From our friends at WESH, WESH2 News, but he had to take the stand and describing the overwhelming smell of human decomposition during the search for his granddaughter. And straight out to Shannon Butler of WFTV, that car that smelled of human decomp, whose car was that?
Casey Anthony's.
Speaking of George, listen.
In Casey Anthony's version of events, on June 16th, 2008, Casey Anthony claimed she wasn't feeling well and got Caylee to lay down with her. Anthony claims she was woken by her father shaking her and asking where Caylee was.
Casey Anthony claims she saw her father, George Anthony, holding Caylee and that Caylee was soaking wet. She further claims that George Anthony handed Caylee to her saying it was all her fault. She claims George didn't want to call 911 and wasn't trying to resuscitate her, so she left and stayed with her boyfriend at the time, Tony Lazaro. For the next 31 days, she claimed she believed Caylee was alive.
Okay, let me understand this. You're the defense attorney, Troy Slayton. So she says she laid down for a nap, woke up, Caylee was gone, and her dad said everything will be okay after she sees Caylee lifeless and drenched, soaked with water. So she says, okay, and goes and slings up with the boyfriend for the next month. Just yes, no. Does that make sense to you?
Her grandparents took care of Caylee all the time. This was not unusual. She was at their house. She was with them. She was an integral part of the family. And it's not unusual for grandparents to look after their granddaughter. And this is a single mother.
I just want to see if he's keeping a straight face right now. Wait, Troy, do you have children? I believe you do, don't you?
I absolutely do.
Oh, okay. So you see your child lifeless, drenched, soaked in water. And what do? You leave and sling up at your lover's apartment for 31 days?
Didn't know that her daughter
What are you babbling about? What is this gibberish?
The jury disagreed with you and agreed
I'm asking
with her.
you right now, does it make sense to you? Is that what you would do if you saw your child lifeless, drenched? Go
Obviously
sling
not.
up with your
Obviously
lover?
not.
Hell no.
I knew that my child was dead. But you know what's really interesting?
Don't piss Nancy off when it comes to Casey Anthony, because this is the one case she will go balls to the walls with. She'll get a fine. She don't care. She'll get a fine.
Is that 31 days?
What's interesting?
Suddenly, the grandparents are calling the police, crying in tears. 31 days after their granddaughter, who was with them all the time, is gone. Suddenly, on this 31st day, they're calling the police.
That's not what happened. Shannon Butler joining me. Let me refresh your recollection, Troy Slayton. Shannon, WFTV, isn't it true that during those 31 days, Top Mom Casey Anthony would repeatedly tell her mother, oh, we're here, we're there, we're at the grocery store, we're at Target. Oh, the nanny has her at the beach. She lied throughout and would never let Grandma Cindy Anthony speak to Caylee. Isn't that true?
That is correct. I mean, she did give her parents a lot of stories pretending that Caylee was okay. I think that the parents were concerned about it, but there was no indication at that point that she was missing or had disappeared. So it took some time. In their defense, it took some time because of the stories that Casey was telling them.
They had no reason to think anything was amiss. Back to Rob Dick joining me. This is Top Mom's former bodyguard, now owner of Renegade Investigations. As a matter of fact, isn't it true that when you dealt with Top Mom Casey Anthony, she acted cool as a cucumber, like nothing was wrong the entire time? That entire 31 days that she apparently had this baby, she acted like nothing was wrong. My point is her demeanor. What was her demeanor when you were around her, Rob Dick?
Definitely not a person who is, quote, missing a child. I mean, she never acted like that. She acted like there was nothing wrong. Caylee's name never came up. I mean, this is the time when she's locked away in jail, comes out, her first public exposure. I mean, what would a normal mother do? Be asking, where are we at? What's going on? Anybody heard anything? Not once is she bringing up Caylee.
You mean you had her in the car with you? You drove her to her parents' home where she has been freeloading for years. At any point with her in the car, did she cry? Did she seem upset? Did she say, I can't, I've got to go find my daughter. I can't find Caylee. Where's Caylee? Have you heard about Caylee? What's the latest? I didn't have TV. I didn't have radio. What's happening with my daughter? Did that ever happen, Rob Dick?
Not once. Not once did she bring her up or even seem to care about looking for her. It was George and Cindy that were trying to find any details, not her.
But yet now, Rob Dick, she says she is a legal advocate for her daughter.
I am a legal advocate. I am a researcher. I've been in the legal field since 2011. And in this capacity, I feel that it's necessary, if I'm going to continue to operate appropriately as a legal advocate, that I start to advocate for myself and also advocate for my daughter.
That is from @CaseyAnthony_Substack, and it will be a cold day in HELL before I listen to one episode and give one red penny to Tot Mom.
I watched that episode of Nancy Grace and the stuff that was being said about me, and you guys are not understanding my side on this.
How long has she been missing for?
My daughter's been missing for the last 31 days.
Yeah, why are you calling now? Why didn't you call 31 days ago?
I've been looking for her, which was stupid.
Lies, all lies. I want you to see on Twitter what populated last night, and I couldn't agree with you more. Chris says, Nancy, Casey Anthony's on TikTok claiming to be a legal advocate.
Everybody went to TikTok and went to Twitter and was like, Nancy Grace hashtagged her. They did. That's why I was like, oh, she gonna cover this.
Justice for Peyton. When she said she was
Go yell at her.
advocating for her daughter, I felt physically ill. Seeing her follower count up to over 40,000 is nauseated. What the F is wrong with these people? Camping life, with all the lies she told about her daughter, who would believe a word she says? Sandy Cole, I couldn't stomach sending you the video, but guess who's made a social media appearance and claiming to be a legal advocate? Hope you're sitting down. Yulayla says, where is Nancy Grace? Why is Casey Anthony on TikTok trying to make a platform for herself? Go yell at her. Don't worry. I will. Lauren Conlon, I can't wait to hear you break down her filthy lies. Okay. Let me go to my colleague, Joe Scott Morgan, just for another reality check, Joe Scott. While we are watching Tot Mom Casey Anthony's return to stardom and TikTok fame, I never actually thought those words would come out of my mouth, but they are. This isn't her first stab at making money off her dead daughter. Again, how was Caylee's body found? Just turned 3. She's about that big right there. Listening?
Yeah, she's found decomposing in the swamp, Nancy, after being cast off. But I've got one more for you as well, going back to what Rob had said earlier, with her in the car with him, her reaction. Remember what Dad said. He went to the car and he smelled decomposition when he got into the car. That doesn't just miraculously happen. You know, you can take a a deceased person and put them in the car, and you're not going to have a whiff of decomposition. It takes time for that to produce itself and present. That baby was in that car for a protracted period of time, traveling all the while she's living the party life.
You know, Dr. Bethany Marshall, when the trial occurred, we moved to Orlando for the duration of the trial, and I had the twins with me. Do you know how many times I wish now I could have them at that age again to, take care of them, to love them, to brush their hair, to take them to fun places to go. And I think about this child in a trash bag.
Nancy, Caylee was only a pawn for Casey Anthony. Listen to what she says on this TikTok. She's going to be a legal advocate for her daughter. She's just using her daughter to manipulate the public to garner sympathy. You know why she was living with her parents, right? George and Cindy. She was living with them because she delegated the care of her daughter to the grandparents. And finally, Cindy Anthony goes and sees a therapist. And the therapist says to Cindy Anthony, you need to get your daughter to start taking care of the granddaughter. That is what precipitated all of this. Cindy came home and said to Casey, you need to start taking care of Caylee. Well, you know what happened then? Casey had only been using her daughter as a pawn with her own grandparents. This little girl was only used by her mother, and anybody who begins to watch those TikTok videos is going to participate in that exploitation of a child.
Thank you, Dr. Bethany. I managed to get myself together. One of the cardinal rules of trying a case or analyzing a case is don't put yourself in the shoes of the victim. And I just did that, thinking about my own children at that tender age. I had them with me while I covered the Tot Mom Casey Anthony trial and investigated it myself. But in the very
kids are like the
latest
same
Tot
age, I
Mom
think.
Casey Anthony's return to TikTok stardom for any idiot that wants to pay for it. Listen.
For those of you who don't know, my name is Casey Anthony. My daughter is Caylee Anthony. My parents are George and Cindy Anthony. This is not about them. This is not in response to anything that they have said or done.
It's about me.
That's not to say that I'm not going to respond at some point to some of the things that they have said and done.
Oh yeah, I'm sure she's going to attack her parents because once she rides her daughter's corpse to hell and back, then she'll have to find somebody else to attack, and that would be George and Cindy. That is from @CaseyAnthony_Substack. That's the new TikTok accounts. And speaking of George, he passed a poly. Tot Mom can't say that. Listen.
I didn't know where she
Are they
was
going
at.
away with?
That's all.
They're going to go away with it again.
So the question again: did you knowingly conceal Caylee's whereabouts?
No.
From our friends at A&E. So the story went from, I don't know where Caylee is, to, oh yeah, you know what? I was taking a nap with Caylee and I woke up, she was gone. And I started looking for her. And the next thing I know, my dad showed up and she was lifeless, drenched in water. And I just went away and had sex with my boyfriend for 31 days. I thought everything would just be fine. Well, it went from that to George Anthony molested me and my daughter. And then he killed my daughter to cover up the molestation. But there's another theory as to why Tot Mom hatched the molestation story. Listen.
Cindy Anthony claims in the new special on A&E, Casey Anthony's Parents, the lie detector test, that the reason her daughter Casey Anthony accused her father of molestation is because she found out that her father, George Anthony, was the main witness to testify against her in front of the grand jury, besides the sheriff's department detective. When asked why he testified in front of the grand jury, George Anthony says he believed his daughter, Casey Anthony, belonged in jail.
What about that, defense attorney Troy Slayton, joining us out of LA? You gave me this big song and dance about the baby. But what about dragging your own father through the mud? He got up and testified and subjected himself to cross-examination on all of her lies about him molesting little Caylee. She didn't. She sat there silent and watched her parents be destroyed on the stand. So it's okay with you that she drags them through the mud as well. Suddenly, when she's on trial for murder, she remembers that her dad molested her. Oh, yeah, she said her brother molested her too. That she was molested, and so was Caylee. And the whole reason her father, a former cop, murdered Caylee is because he was covering up molestation on a 2-year-old little girl. Is that okay with you? That she drags down everybody around her and now she wants my money?
Do we only respect a jury verdict when the verdict comes out the way we want? I mean,
I'm asking you
criminal
about
justice system
George.
in
I'm
the
asking you
nation.
about George. You've already gotten on your soapbox about a verdict that the jurors say they regret
I know,
what that's
Nancy,
worth. I'm
that-
asking you about George,
I
dragging
know
him through the mud.
Dragging him through the mud. This is the jury believed what she said. Obviously, the jury found that there was insufficient evidence.
That's
and
not what they said.
Well,
They said they
acquitted
didn't
her.
understand cause
They
of death.
found her
I'm
not guilty.
asking
This wasn't
you
a her-
about her
this wasn't a
changing
hung
story
jury,
and then
Nancy.
dragging George through the mud.
This wasn't where 6 people thought one thing and 6 people thought another thing, or 11
You're not going to
people
address
thought-
what she did to her father.
Maybe it was true. We don't know whether or not it was true. We
Ooh,
weren't
hey,
there behind
hey, you
closed
better watch
doors.
out, Troy Slayton, because there is something called oral slander, defamation. It'll be a cold day in
Well, then,
HELL that I stand
we-
by and let somebody claim George molested
You're calling a
anybody.
murderer. You're calling Casey Anthony
Tell
a
me it
murderer.
may be
She was
true.
found not guilty. She has been exonerated by our criminal justice system, and everybody here is branding her a murderer.
And now she's making money off her daughter's dead body and is threatening to drag George and Cindy to hell and back again. Listen, can't you hear her for Pete's sake?
For those of you who don't know, my name is Casey Anthony.
She
My
keeps
daughter is
playing it
Cindy
over and
Anthony.
over.
My parents are George and Cindy Anthony. This is not about them. This
I
is
know,
not
right?
in response to anything that they have said or done. That's not to say that I'm not going to respond at some point to some of the things that they have said and done.
TikTok at Casey Anthony _Substack.
Stop dropping her link.
Come on, my entire life.
Oh, here it
has
is.
been taken from me. Do you understand how I feel? I mean, do you really understand how I feel in this? But I'm just as much of a victim as the rest of you.
Oh, my stars. I'm just as much of a victim as the rest of you. Speaking of all her lies on George, Rob Dick joining me, Casey Anthony's former bodyguard, now owner, Renegade Investigations. Rob Dick, isn't it true that after she was brought home the first time, before she was charged with murder, George Anthony physically attacked her, pushed her up against the wall, demanding to know where's Caylee? Isn't that true?
100%. Yeah, it was
What
obvious at
happened?
that point George had no idea. He wanted the answers. He knew that something had happened to his granddaughter, and he grabbed her. He wanted the answers. What happened to Caylee?
And this was in front of you as well as Cindy, but at any time did she say, Dad, you had her last? Remember when you got her out of the pool after you molested her? Did any of that happen, Rob Dick?
She never brought up those issues until trial.
Listen to more of Tot Mom in her new money-making venture.
As a proponent for the LGBTQ community, for our legal community, women's rights, I feel that it's important that I use this platform that was thrust upon me and now look at as a blessing as opposed to the curse that it has been since 2008.
Translation, I'm broke and I need beer money. Quick question, Joe Scott Morgan, when is menopause? Just tell me, quick, when is menopause?
It's variable dependent upon population.
Just, I was like, I don't want to answer that.
You begin to think about 40 to 50, that time frame generally.
So we're really not even close. She could still have a baby. That's the only news that could be worse right now.
Yeah.
Mom has her hand in my pocket and everybody else is making money off her
Oh my
child. By the way,
God.
that was from her TikTok account at Casey Anthony _Substack.
How old is
She could
Casey
have
Anthony?
another baby. It's possible.
Dude, she's my age, isn't she? She was 22. Wait, how old is Casey? I know she was 22 when it happened. I was 22 in 2008. Son of a gun. She's my age. Man, I
Oh,
hope she don't have no more
absolutely.
kids. I mean, I feel like there should be a law against that. I don't know what the law should be because I don't want to get into that political stuff. But I mean, it's, like, I mean, I even have I have a friend. I love her to pieces, but like she's had way too many kids. It's like, yeah, she breathes on you, and like you breathe on her, and she gets pregnant. I mean, it's like stay away from her. She's had like 10 kids now. Like just there should be like a limit. Like I don't know, right? Like if you have a kid, if your child is missing or unalived, I don't know. Maybe you got to take some more parenting classes or something. I don't know, but nothing can help Casey Anthony. Nothing. Exactly. If you kill one, you shouldn't be able to have another one. Yeah. Like we're just gonna just get a brand new one, like their cars or something. It's so sad. And every time I see Caylee's eyes, her eyes were so round and beautiful.
I'll say a silent prayer that doesn't happen.
Andrew Yates.
Okay,
Yep.
now more of Tot Mom in her money grab.
As a proponent for the LGBTQ community, for our legal community, women's rights, I feel
women's rights
that
we don't want you to
platform that was thrust upon me, and now look at as a blessing as opposed to the curse that it has been since 2008.
A proponent for the LGBTQ community.
They don't want her.
What? Did they ask you to
Sorry. I knew Nancy was going to say something.
be their advocate? They have enough problems with people attacking them every day just because of who they are. Nothing more. With friends.
I'm about to say, Ashley, do you I was like, can you speak for the whole community? Ashley says no.
Like this, who needs an enemy? I don't think they want you advocating for them, Tot Mom. What, like you advocated for your daughter
bad.
Or your mother?
It's so bad. I would not want her to be an advocate.
You continue to take advantage of. That is from Tot Mom's TikTok account at @CaseyAnthony_Substack. There's more. Listen.
There's
My
more.
My goal is to continue to help give a voice to people, to give people tools and resources that they can utilize so they actually know where they can turn to.
Now, here is the woman who is asking for your money, talking about privacy. I've never seen anything like it since Harry and Meghan and their worldwide privacy tour. Listen.
I will explain in great detail why it's so important for people to protect their privacy. It's not just important to public figures, it's even more important to private individuals. And with the current climate in our country, especially, it's that much more important.
That's from the official TikTok account at @CaseyAnthony_Substack. Privacy. Let's see. How maintain your privacy? Possibly don't get in a bar fight.
So you just need an incident report? Yeah. If you can send that to me, I can send it to you. That would be no problem. Yeah, no, I have it saved for stuff like this. Why don't you file a restraining order? I didn't have enough to file a restraining order. I had to have actual threats. Her texting was not enough. Her showing up where I was not enough. This is enough. In front of witnesses.
I'll tell you why Tot Mom Casey Anthony didn't file a restraining order after that bar fight from our friends at Channel 6. Because nobody would believe that she was the victim. There's more. Maintain privacy. Don't get in a bar fight.
Again, I apologize. I said non-emergency.
Right?
Her friend was here. Several people that I've known for years are here as witnesses, if necessary. So I'm not trying to file a restraining order. I just want it to stop. And I know a restraining order at most is good for 6 months, and it can go away.
No.
Or
what?
The incident that happened, and I'll put it as verbal threats because she said that she keeps coming to you. You can tell she threw a drink at me.
I'll throw a drink at you too.
Along with her TikTok video, Casey Anthony announces her deal with Substack, a subscription-based service that allows writers and podcasters to release material directly to subscribers. Subscriptions to Anthony's Substack channel.
I mean, is she gonna like teach people how to make like jail ramen? What are you gonna like? What are you doing? What are you doing? What's the other one's name out here that murdered her mom? I can't think of her name. Keep wanting to say Ruby Frankie, and that's not it. But she's out here like doing things now, like unalives her mom and is out here just hanging out. While the guy that helped her unalive her mom is still sitting in the jail. I don't get it. Oh, Substack's like an old AOL chat board. Oh, I might like that. Look at me over there. I'll be over there on Substack. I'm just kidding.
Will cost $10 a month.
Casey Anthony, we all
Or
join my fun
$100 annually, although she offers free subscriptions with limited content.
$100 for an annual subscription to Tot Mom, Casey Anthony's new TikTok.
Or $10 a month. So you get 2 months off. Look at that.
A look.
How generous.
Tot Mom's mother from our friends at A&E.
And to sit here and listen to her keep making different stories as it fits. I'm having a hard time. I'm having a panic attack. I'm sorry.
Dr. Bethany, why can't
I did watch that.
breathe right there?
Cindy is having a panic attack. Her heart rate is elevated. She's overwhelmed. She can't think because she is reminiscing about her granddaughter's death. She's having
I didn't mean to
intrusive
press that.
thoughts and memories. She's thinking about that little girl lying in a swamp. She's being interviewed. So when people have trauma and they begin to talk about the original event, it actually reactivates the trauma. It's as if they're in it. Nancy, you've heard of the term flashback? With people who have post-traumatic stress disorder, they have flashbacks. She is in a flashback, and George knows how to comfort her. You know, this could have torn this couple apart, but they have become more and more solid over time. Unlike their daughter, who's not bonded with the granddaughter, this couple is bonded with each other, and they care and love. They care for and love each other.
I just wonder what this new return where Tot Mom rears her ugly head. Most people would run for the hills as if they had seen a monster, but apparently there are nearly 3,000 subscribers as we go to air. But this isn't her first money grab by far. Listen.
In her ongoing effort to get a spotlight back on her face, Casey Anthony is pitching a reality TV show about her life. The proposal submitted on her behalf would provide an intimate window into the daily life of one of the most controversial women in America. The proposal says in each episode, Casey will go about her day, working, socializing, dating. She will share her thoughts and opinions and will give an intimate look into her world. One Hollywood executive who passed on the pitch says he hopes someone has the guts to pick it up. He wants to watch it.
A reality show in each episode. Tot Mom goes about her day working, socializing, and dating. To Shannon Butler joining me, WFTV Channel 9, I can only imagine what this is doing to George and Cindy Anthony. The re-emergence of Tot Mom. She says she will address her parents. She just released a statement threatening people if they slander her or defame her. I can only imagine what she's going to say about them.
Yeah, you know, we still see them from time to time. They still live here. They still have their home. And I think what people maybe forget about what happened to George and Cindy, it wasn't just what happened during that, but there were long lasting effects here. I mean, their house was in foreclosure. They had a hard time, getting jobs. He was in a horrible, horrible car accident a few years ago.
Oh,
A
wow.
lot has happened to them. And it is difficult even now when you see them, at the grocery store or at a restaurant, to imagine what these folks are going through. And I think for them, they're always bracing for the next thing. I don't think that many people are surprised that
They've been probably waiting on this to come.
she has now reemerged. I think that was always going to be the plan down the road. But I think that they prepare themselves for whatever is going to come next, because for them, it just seems to never, ever end.
Let me remind everyone, as Troy Slayton has done so, Tot Mom Casey Anthony was acquitted of murder. Of course, the jurors now say they regret that and they were wrong, but so what? She was acquitted. But every time that you subscribe or download her gibberish and lies, you're putting another dollar in her pocket. You, as much as that jury has been shamed and ostracized, you're voting not guilty every time you give Tot Mom one red
Oh, there
flag.
you go, Nancy. Tell them.
Now we remember an American hero, police officer Scott Fitzgerald, South Jacksonville PD, Illinois, passed away in the line of duty, survived by wife Danielle, children Colton, Finley. American hero.
That's sad. That's real sad that they do that at the end of the shows. But yeah, that's Casey. She's back. She's trying to make a comeback. We'll see how she does. I mean, people will listen to her, I think, for a little bit, but she's got 3 million views on her video. So I wonder what it's up to now. I don't even want to know. I should go over there. Let's see if I can find her. I hate when it has like the volume up. Okay. I bet you she's probably like one of the like people that are looked up the most right now. Okay, well, there's a couple. Oh, this must be it. But there's 2. That's so weird. One of them has 15,000 and one of them has 16. But I think it's this one. Casey Anthony, 1986. She's younger than me. I'm assuming her year is 1986. Mine's 85. So she's actually younger than I am. She's younger than me. She looks older than me. I don't know what I don't think she looks. I mean, she looks good for, you know what I mean, like for what she went through and being in prison and stuff, I guess. But yeah, so she has 1.4 million views here, 1.4 million and 2.5 million. Wow. Oh gosh, are you really? Okay, is there music? Okay. The presumption of innocence is a scarce right afforded to all individuals arrested in this country. That is not an opinion, it is a fact. We are plagued by a rush of judgment before someone even steps foot into a courtroom. Once a verdict is read, however long the process takes, the public must trust that the system worked the way it was intended. You are entitled to your opinions, not your own set of facts. You are the general public. You, as the general public, will never know the full facts of a case. The media will never tell you the full truth. They will tell you what you think and how to feel. Educate yourself. Stop spreading hate. If tomorrow you woke up and were arrested, accused of a crime you didn't commit, or someone close to you were to be, wouldn't you want them to be treated fairly and just? It's not that complicated. It is. It is that complicated. When they gave the jury, that judge should have been fired. I don't know if he was or if he wasn't, but he gave the worst jury instructions ever. They were pretty much saying that they all had to be 100% that she did it this way, and they couldn't come to an agreement on the cause of death because the medical the coroner couldn't even come up with a cause of death. So it was like they couldn't come up with it. So that's why they said not guilty, but they didn't realize they didn't realize what they were doing, and that was on the judge. In my opinion, the judge should have gave them a little better of an instruction. So it says here, it has been more than 16 years since my name became a household one. Not in a good way. Everyone seems to have an opinion about me and about my life. I am an advocate or researcher. Oh my God, you can sit with us. The open seat is for Caylee. Oh, you can't. Sorry, you can't sit with us. The open seat is for Caylee. That's kind of cute. Throughout these years, I've dedicated myself to uncovering truths and making a difference. Is this Hong? Oh my. I think that I might have found Hong a girlfriend. We need to go to Twitter to tell him. I found someone more delusional than him. on the internet. My journey has been filled with challenges and triumphs, but my commitment to my cause has never wavered. I strive to inspire and create positive change in the world. What do you mean it's never wavered? Which story? Where she drowned? Where your dad abused you? Where your dad abused her? Which story? What? What hasn't changed? What stayed the same other than your name? Your name stayed the same. That's about it. That's about it. That's about it. Just your name. Everything else has changed about you, honey. Man, this woman gets me. You were born in 85 too? Me too, Groovy Nikki. October. I'm a Libra. Look at that. That means we're going to be 40 this year. You ready for it? Because I'm not. I'm not ready. Really? I'm a year younger than you, Karina? I thought I was older than you. I don't know, by your picture. Your picture, you look very youthful. Not that you're not. I mean, 40 is youthful. I know that, here, I'll put the account in there for you. I know my brother's going to be 48 this month. And oh my gosh. It's crazy. I'll put the her TikTok in here. But don't you all be going over there giving her $10 now. I'll make sure you get the videos for free. I'll figure it out. I'll send Nancy the bill. But she only has 3 videos so far. But I mean, I know that you don't get like as much money. I hear you don't get paid out as much on TikTok. Like I have a studio and stuff over there on TikTok. Like they've asked me like be a partner or whatever it is, but I never really set it up. So, and I don't get that many views to like where I would even get paid out. But I heard like a lot less than like if it was like a YouTube, because like YouTube videos are longer as well. So, I'm not sure how much she's making, but she's making something. The date 10/17/85. You're gonna be 55 in July, princess. Oh, thanks. Thanks, Wandering Orphan. You're so sweet. I won't ever go near her videos, Ladybug said. Yeah, don't go over there. So you guys remember last night we were talking about a little boy named Dane Paulson. There's not a huge update on his case, but there was a press conference. I think that they're going to scale back the search maybe, and focus kind of like they were with Sebastian, like on what they regroup and see what happens, like after they regroup. But they haven't found him as far as I know. And this is like the 4th night he's going to be out. So I was like looking stuff up, just to like double check, and I haven't seen anything. So tomorrow I already scheduled the live. So tomorrow I'll come on in the morning and we'll do like a little live over him. Maybe we'll have some good news by morning, we can only hope. Gypsy Rose, that's the one I was thinking of. I couldn't think of her stinking stupid name. Gypsy. Yeah. That's what I think. That's what I think, Mandy. I think she's trying to pull another little gypsy move. Yeah. Like, because everyone felt bad for Gypsy. I mean, and I still do. I mean, for what she went through, but I don't know. You don't unalive your mom. But your mom shouldn't do those things to you either. I don't know. That's just a messed up situation. That's such a messed up situation. But yeah, they didn't find him, but I'll be looking for the updates. I don't think that there's anything else to really update you guys on. And then tomorrow night we'll go over the new documents for Idaho. What's this? He's 12 years old, 913 surgeries. 12-year-old with rare cancer, sworn in more than 800 times as honorary police officer. Oh, that's so sweet. Here, let me show you this. This is sweet. Ikamo put it on his. He is a rare cancer, honorary police officer. Look at his little police uniform. Oh, that's cute. That's sweet. We need more of that. We need more hugs and stuff, not cancer, but more like people being good, people doing good for each other. 800 times he was sworn in. He's probably been sworn in more than any officer ever. Yeah, Gypsy was an adult. Yeah, and she could have got out. She could have gotten out of that. Like, wasn't she like drinking sodas and stuff? And her mom said she couldn't have sugar, but she was like sneaking like Pepsis or something or Coke, whatever it was. And like, I think she had to have known. Like, she started to know. Like, so she wasn't like, you know, everything wasn't like wrong with. There wasn't anything really wrong with her. I think though over time it kind of did affect her mental health. Yeah, that's how I am, Tempest. That's how I feel. Like, I couldn't imagine having my teeth removed from my and your mom's doing all that. Like, she's behind all that. Your mom. I just, man, every day I think about how blessed I was. I really, I was blessed to have the mom I had. I'll tell you. I'll tell you what. Oh, Diane, that's sweet. Oh, you're traveling with your brother tomorrow? Oh. Tell him not to be scared, Ashley. He won't feel a thing. When he wakes up, he won't feel a thing. And when he wakes up, he might cuss you a little. If he might be a little angry, just to give you a heads up if you're there when he wakes up. I'm not the best person to wake up out of surgery. Like, I like to stay sleeping, you know, and like they wake you up because they want you to wake up and like drink something and, you know, get fluids down. And when you're coming out of that, you're a little groggy and sometimes you can be a little testy. Like I get like that. Well, I used to get like that, but now I am like right up. I jump right, like they don't even have the IV out of my arm and I'm like up. I'm like, let's go. Like, where's the papers to sign? Because, you know, after so many, you just, you know, but tell them, don't be scared. That's why you're going to a hospital. That's why they have anesthesia. That's why they get paid the way they get paid, is to make sure you're under. Make sure if they give him the calming stuff and it doesn't make him calm, say, give me some more. They'll give you a little more that volume, so that they always give me extra. I'm always like, let's get the extra, just because they'll give it to you and it makes you feel a lot more calm. Anything to make me calm, I'm like, oh, wow. So I've had where they cut open my side. They took fat out of my side because like I was so small, there was nowhere else to find it. And they didn't want to cut my stomach, you know, of course, because like that would be a big scar. So they put it over on my hip and they took some fat out and they put it like right here. But mine's starting to like kind of sink a little bit. So I need them to fix something. I need them to fix it. But scar release surgery. I've never had that done, but I bet that will feel amazing because my scars have gotten to where like they'll get dry sometimes and they hurt. And I'm sure that's like what your brother's, you know, goes through. Yeah, I'm like that too. I went out the second. Yeah. Like I remember the first surgery I had, I woke up, I was cussing. I was like 17 or 18. I was in a back car accident back then too. I had no surgery and I was yelling at my dad. I was like, my dad was like, oh my God, my baby, you know, because I don't like have a potty mouth like that. And I was just like, get me out of here. And I was yelling and I was trying to convince my dad to like drink some of the Sprite so that I could leave. Cause they're like, if you get like a quarter of this drink down, we'll let you go. And I'm like, drink some of this, like just drink some of it. Like that's how my family was though. We were funny like that. Just like, you know, just take a couple drinks. Like I want to leave. And then now it's literally, I'm like, are we done? Well, the last surgery I had, I was awake, half awake. Don't let them do that. If they say, do you want to do hypnotic surgery? Say, nah. Put me all the way out. 70%. Wow. Oh, man. I feel bad for him, Ashley. Like, I know that feeling, but not like that. I'm having a procedure done on my foot. He said that my toe looks like, this is weird. I know it's so gross, but like the skin's coming up on like the side of my big toe, which I couldn't even tell. Like I thought it looked fine. Looked fine to me. And he's like talking about how he's going to give me a shot before, like the day before, and then 2 shots when I get there to numb it. And like all that's like going to be a whole procedure. Like I won't be able to walk for a couple of days. And I'm like, what? I'm like, what do you want to do? Today he singed some stuff like cuts. Oh, don't ever get in a car accident. Don't ever. It's the metal. It makes me walk weird. 1 year. I remember that happened. It's been a year. Wow. I can't believe it's been a year, actually. Yeah, I'll be thinking of him. Because I know this is a big surgery for him. And, oh man, to raise your arms and stuff just to not be in pain. There's nothing like it. Like I've been through 11 years of different pain, and I'm not saying that to get into sympathy, but like it's just a thing that I don't go to the doctor. I'm like, I'll be fine, it'll go away, and then it doesn't. So now that's what I'm doing right now. I'm going to the doctor like every few months to try to figure out what's going on with my little feet, because I'm in pain all the time. Hey, citizen. Yeah, I couldn't imagine if you have to watch it, like sitting there watching them. Yes. Tempest, yeah. They used to come in and take my blood, and I'd be half asleep. I'm like, how am I half asleep right now? Because it was so early in the morning. It's like 4 a.m. And they're like, you could tell us no if you ever wanted to. And I'm like, it's all right. Like, it's all right. Just do it. Get it over with. Get out of here. He's only 35. Oh, so young. Well, I hope his surgery goes well tomorrow. It will. It'll be fine, and he'll, take a couple of days, I'm sure, to recover. But then once he's recovered, maybe do physical therapy. I don't know what they'll have him do, but I'm sure he'll be feeling a lot better. Having to where he has more mobility, because there's nothing like it. There is nothing like being able to walk. Like, I mean, the simplest little thing. There is nothing like even just being able to be in a wheelchair. There is nothing like that. Like I've went from being literally bedridden in the ICU to where they were like, you're not going to walk. You might not walk ever, and I just wanted to get up and just like go to the restroom by myself, or just maybe take a little walk. Couldn't do that. Couldn't get in the wheelchair for the longest time by myself. So, those things are, don't take any of that stuff for granted, because stuff can happen, and, and it's terrible. Oh, yeah. When you have to learn how to walk again, it's something else. And you have to learn how to go upstairs, and you have to learn how to like use a walker. And oh my Lord, it makes me, but but it's just like, I remember having to go through all that. And I'm just, every time I walk, I'm usually pretty grateful for being able to. I have my walking pad here. I walk on it every day, at least twice a day. Usually I didn't walk on it today because I walked around today. I walked all kinds of places, thank you guys for being here. I was going to say anything else. No, I don't think so. I think that's all my show for tonight. I'll be back tomorrow. I'm going to do like an early, either like a morning, afternoon type of stream, just to cover Dane's case a little bit more. And then we will do Idaho 4 tomorrow evening, because those new documents came out, and I want to go over those with you guys. So I'll see you guys back here tomorrow evening at 9:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Be on the lookout for the live during the morning. It might be, I don't know if I'll wake up earlier or not tomorrow. We'll see. Sometimes I'll wake up at like 5 a.m. Sometimes I wake up at like 8 a.m. So we'll see what happens, but I'll be on tomorrow, and I want to say thank you. And I appreciate you guys being here again. If you guys don't mind, just hit the like button on your way out. Subscribe to the channel. We'd love to have you. We talk true crime daily, and I'll see you guys all tomorrow night. Bye, guys.
Just like the street lights lit this town, like a fire in a blaze, gotta burn it down. Can't be afraid to live this out.